Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy we're all here to gather around and provide support and excitement for Catherine on this day of her launch of her latest book. But speaking of gathered around, I see some empty seats here up at the front. And there's nothing like being at the front of the stage and having an empty seat in front of you. And I wonder if there's any way we could fix that.
Nope.
How to fix these empty seats? We gotta fill it up. We gotta show up for each other. So, as I said earlier, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roco. I first met Catherine when she was looking for someone to design the book cover for the work that she's unveiling tonight. And it didn't take long for me to see that she's someone who brings creativity, kindness, and intention to everything that she does. Over the past 30 years, Catherine has created the 3 anthologies of poetry contained in Catherine's poetic life, namely Better Look, Better Looking, and now Seeing. Together they span a lifetime, offering a glimpse into how our perception changes as we grow. It allows us to reflect upon and experience the world. Her poems invite us to slow down and notice the things that we might otherwise miss. It's been a privilege to play even just a small part of helping to bring seeing into the world, and I'm so glad that we get to celebrate her work together tonight. Please join me in welcoming Catherine Valleroy.
Got to put on my red glasses that are my, thing. I am Catherine Valleroy, which many of you know. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Oops. Oh, that's right. Lou said it could come off. Okay. I'm Catherine Valleroy, and I am the poet and writer of this trilogy, which is called Catherine's Poetic Life. First, I'd like to thank the people that helped me put together my 3 books, which are Better Look, Better Looking, and Seeing. These are the people that did the covers for me, and that's like the starting point. That's what grabs people's attention, especially since I put my butt on the line in the first one. So, and I have a friend whose granddaughter asked why that was. And then my friend said, you field that question, Catherine. So I will try and explain some of this to you this evening. I want to thank Brandon Vick. Brandon Vick did both Better Look and Better Looking. He did both covers for me. And we've been working together. I mean, this goes back 30 years. So we've been working together forever. And actually, I used to model for Brandon before in my 20s. And I'm 62 now. So we've worked together for a long time. So I'm so grateful for him working with me. And then Kitty Hubbard, that many of you probably know, who is faculty at Brockport and a wonderful photographer. She did the book Seeing for me. And Kelly did the design. So I'm so grateful for her. I mean, I had ideas about the cover, but I think that's so fabulous. And a little bit of backstory. These are my progression through 30 years of coming to know myself, my body, the world, and the first 2. One is about being in a marriage. The toilet seat is up. The bathroom is messy. My butt is on the line, and I was sick and tired of having waifs and heroin chic people describe how I should have my body. And so I took a risk and I put this out as the cover for my first book. And I wanted examples of out there for real women. So that's why I took the risk on this. The second book, which is Better Looking, and better look is you better look at yourself, better look. And then better looking certainly may describe that you are even better looking than you were before as you get older. And you better, better looking. You know how to look at yourself better. So this time I'm divorced and the toilet seat is down and the bathroom is very clean and in order. And that's kind of where I was. So this book has to do with, these two books have to do with looking at myself better, coming to know myself. And then the final book, Seeing, has to do, which that is the cover there, that has to do with coming to see myself as I really am. So from 30 to 60, this was my process. And I want to just tell you about Catherine's poetic life a little. First of all, to me, being poetic means being mindful towards yourself and the world. And to recognize and relate to the good, the bad, the mundane, which people know I love the mundane, because everyday life stuff is really where we live. It's the reality of our lives, the mundane and the fantastic in your life and in the world around you. So, in this trilogy, as I said, I moved from my 30s to the present day. And I've come to know myself pretty darn well. And I've been fearless in this process. So, one final thing, I do have a show coming up. The album that you might have heard, which is progressing through the evening, is a spoken word album that I put together about 5 years ago. And it's from my first book, Better Looking, or Better Look. And I worked with a tremendous composer from Eastman. So he did all the music and the recording, and I did the spoken word part. So I will, we'll put that back on so that you can hear this. But much to my delight, I have been asked by a choreographer if someone could choreograph this for me. So on the 26th and 27th, does everyone know about the muck? Do you know what the muck is? Okay. And if you don't, when I sign books, I will gladly tell you about the muck. Well, what's kind of neat is there's a choreographer, his name is Josh Lang, and there's a dancer, her name is Megan Flynn, and they're premiering a piece at Dance at the Muck, which is the 12th year for doing this. And the piece is entries from Better Look. So it's going to be amazing. And there's going to be a whole bunch of artists that are going to be there. So I invite you to come and see that. And so you know, you can get tickets through muck.org, muccc.org. So yeah, join us for that. So lots of fun activities happening in the next couple of weeks. And the Jazz Fest and 6x6. So I'm going to start reading from my book, Better Look. And there's a very endearing poem, which I also work with Kelly and Nancy Wiley on putting a print together of this poem called Grocery Shopping, which is about my experience when my son was 3 years old. And we used to go to Wegmans on Culver Ridge, and we would, I'll read you the story. What's really kind of neat is that this was about my motherhood. This was about connecting with my son at a very young age. And I think a lot of people, men and women, can relate to this. So I'm going to read Grocery Shopping. We, my son and I, go once or twice in a month. He is still small enough to sit in a cart. He is still happy to be contained, to make eye contact, to have my undivided attention. Our creature comforts first. We share a box of cupcakes, 2 each, firm and cool, swirling high with buttercream, candied sprinkles, bright colors. Smart how they place the bakery first. As we make our way, I have devoured mine, 2 mouthfuls per. My son has devoured the frosting and tiny cake bites. We move towards produce. Me with greasy fingers and a list. He with wrapped cakes and a frosted mouth. A stock boy with paper towels takes one look at us and offers up some sheets. As I bag cut broccoli, my son offers to exchange his cakes for the piece. I, in turn, waste nothing. Next, we move past the aquarium. He spots lobsters. My choices are less than glamorous. Mostly, we eat catfish. On we go, I must admit, losing momentum, the best of it really over, toward utilitarian aisles of cans and plastic, cardboard and glass. We both squirm thirsty as our sugar levels dip. Smart how they place coolers of soda so near the end. We get our second wind. As we head toward checkout, we are not distracted by the candy. I reach for a magazine, lose 10 pounds in a week, flattering bathing suits for your body type. I put it down, glad I ate the cakes. Then I empty the cart of all its contents, including my son, and pay the bill, usually forgetting to pay for the cakes. Then, once we have finished, we go out the automatic doors, we hop on the cart, and ride to the car. So that is grocery shopping. Thank you. The next poem I'm going to read is about high heels. And this is about these little girls that were in my neighborhood when I lived in the city off of Merchants Road. And there were 2 blondes and 2 redheads, sweetest, cutest little girls ever. And this one day I was sitting on my stoop and I heard this sound, this unmistakable sound of this shuffling. And I looked over and one of the Berry girls had on a pair of their mother's high heel shoes. And so I thought, I'm an artist that really likes to take words and make you see pictures with them. So I thought, how am I going to describe this? So that was the first stanza. The second stanza had to do with my mother. She was actually coming out of surgery for breast cancer. And I was laying in one of those vinyl chairs next to her bed. And I thought, I got to write the stanza about my mom and what it meant for me to observe her in her high heel shoes. And then I looked at myself and I said, I've got to look at what do high heel shoes mean to me on the basis of having been the little girl who put them on once and having been the daughter of the woman that I admired, who so gracefully navigated that. So I will read you the poem called High Heels. I know the sound of a little girl walking in her mother's high heels, the cautious shuffle of the soles along the ground, the dragging drum roll of the heels across the pavement. She walks on delicate toes, trying not to fall from someone else's shoes. I can remember the sound of my mother walking in high heels. I didn't have to see her. I could feel her footsteps, their confident staccato. I imagined her gracefully crossing any surface, even ice. At 34, I wear the sound of both pairs. In my high heels, I am confident and statuesque. Good Lord, I am uncomfortable and pinched. Still on my toes, I walk carefully on the frozen pavement, going home to put on my sneakers. Can anyone relate? So, let's see what's next. Okay, this is a poem that is based on a situation where, as a little girl, I grew up around Irondequoit Creek, and I loved to go swimming in Irondequoit Creek. And I used to go swimming in the fall when the air would get warm, but the creek had gotten cold. And I still do this every year at this, in the fall. So here is Indigenous Summer. There is a time in late September when the sun and wild grass tassels absorb and mix with light, when nature's alchemy makes gold. It is then, when the air is warm and the creek flows cold, that I descend the hill toward my childhood. Into the woods I go, down a steep path covered with autumn's blanket, toward the sweet earthy smells of the old creek bed. I weave through thickets towards radiant streams of light that cut through the brush and hang on the moisture of the past night's frost. I am searching for the creek and its deep bend, where there is a tree fort and a swimming hole. Once there, without hesitation, I peel off my clothes and slide down the bank. With feet sinking into mud and clay, my toes get the first shock of ice water. Hesitantly, I plunge. Like eating ice cream, my body lives the cold pain. Exhilarated, my body submerges, my face and hair surfacing to part the water. Yet little time passes as the cold begins to dull me. I swim to the bank and pick myself up by fistfuls of mud. Before dressing, I lay beneath the tree on the bed of yellow leaves, hoping that next year will bring another Indigenous summer. Okay. I confess being in debt, not being pregnant. You didn't say much. My feet continued to hurt. As we walked towards our cars, you said I could truly do anything I chose. You left. I cried, yet I could not get myself to take off those painful shoes. Okay, that is Better Luck. Thank you. Thank you. Now, just a couple poems from Better Looking, and then I will go to Seeing. I am a big haiku fan. And actually, Emma heard this, our little announcer here, heard this poem and she gasped the first time she heard it. Does everyone know what a haiku is? It's 5-7-5. So those are the syllables that you have to stay within, and it's really challenging. It's like a puzzle, putting together as few words as you possibly can to get a point across or a picture across. So this one is called The Slap. Do you remember this, Emma? Well, I'll refresh your memory. The slap. The first slap, pink. Kinder than the black and blue ones. Either way, you cry. So I'll read that again, because haikus go by so quickly. The slap. The first slap, pink. Kinder than the black and blue ones. Either way, you cry. So there you go. That's the slap. Thank you. So the next one is romantic. And, it sort of shows the kind of, I'm divorced now and I want love in my life. And so I thought about, what does love mean? And this is a poem that I think catches what I want and maybe what some of you want. It's called Dream Catcher. Would it be that you will let me catch your dreams? For if you do, I promise I will come to know them dearly in my heart. I would let them shine, their tails streaming brightly, their dust falling upon you. Let me be as your North Star, giving back to you authenticity from your longings. Let me come to know you well enough to be your muse. Trust me, for if you do, I will appreciate that such an act is braver than love. Okay. That is better looking. And now on to the current book that just came out. Seeing. Okay. First poem is called The Art of Seeing. And, I thought this was kind of a good one to start with in a book about seeing. So, The Art of Seeing. Whatsoever I do not accept is indicative of my blind spots. For I try to travel toward enlightenment despite often being distracted by my pride, my shame, my fear. When I do not accept life on life's terms, I become blind to the truth of the moment. My vision blurs, making it nebulous at best. So the key to restoring my sight is to regain perspective, renew hope, be patient. For these are the ways to refocus and come back to seeing things as they truly are, rather than just looking at them. Okay, thank you. Okay, here's another haiku. Love haikus, they're so challenging. So, this is called Conflict. Sand irritates flesh. The oyster overcomes this, making a rare pearl. I'll read that again. Conflict. Sand irritates flesh. The oyster overcomes this, making a rare pearl. Okay, now I am going to read something that is a little bit about my political stance in life. It has to do with privilege. It doesn't take sides with Republicans or Democrats. It just kind of takes into perspective it's people with privilege versus people without privilege. So it's another haiku. Privilege. Living privilege affords one much certainty. Living without, none. Again, privilege. Living privilege affords one much certainty. Living without, none. So, with a trillionaire now in our midst, that one is, I think, kind of pertinent today. Okay, this next poem has a story, and it's about my mother. She was 95. She just passed, and I dedicated this book to her. And she was in hospice when I told her, and she couldn't speak. But I said, Mom, I dedicated my book to you. And she went on her heart, and she went like this. And I said, do you want me to read you a poem? And my mom was always about me reading the poem. She is my biggest, still around, her spirit. She is my biggest fan. And so I opened up the book magically to this poem, which I actually ended up reading at her funeral. A Season for Hope. I hold you to my heart. Hear its constant beating, its rhythm forging hope for you and me to share. Life is all around us, such as it is for you, such as it is for me. Difficult and beautiful. We will walk with each other, holding pieces of the universe in our souls, to share them someday when we return to dust. Oh, my dear, you will never be alone, for you are eternally of the cosmos, holy by design, by intention, by purpose. You are as rare and delightful as the stars that have fashioned you. I behold your spirit, for it sustains you. It is a gift for you to hold and share with those you love. I know not what tomorrow will bring, but I assure you it will be divine if you but trust this process of living. Know that your life here is only a beginning, a rapture leading to infinite raptures, a purpose that is greater than you can fathom, here on earth or in the great beyond. So I can't even imagine. I mean, that's a spiritual experience, having that be the poem that I opened up to. Out of 307 poems in this book, which, my books have gotten exponentially bigger. This was a chapbook. This was gaining on a poetry book. And this is definitely an anthology. So, yeah. And my mom always used to say to me, it's amazing that you did not repeat any of your poems. These are all original poems. And that's kind of crazy. So, I think we're coming to the end of our poetry, and then I will have a book signing and answer any questions that you have. I'll go over and answer questions and sign books. So this is about expression, and it's being humble about writing. Expression. Deep inside is lodged a thought, a feeling, and when it surfaces, my attempt to express it does not come easy. I think of the billions of people and trillions of words. I try. Yet won't I have just repeated words expressed 20 seconds or centuries ago, more times than I can say around the world? Perhaps. Yet I believe God's expression of me will only happen once. Thank you very much. Thank you.